Hello, guys. Hello, my dear friends. I hope you can hear me and you can see me well. Please, someone confirm that. Greetings to everyone. Thank you so much, Steve, and greetings to Yorkshire. And I'm really happy that you are here. So, thank you so much for joining. Today, we have a lot of important things to discuss. And also, I would like to remind you that we are determined to defeat the evil, but they keep targeting civilian infrastructure. So, in case I will have some problems with electricity or internet, I don't plan to, but in case this happens, remember that's the problem. Russia is to blame. Greetings to Oslo and Berlin and Portsmouth. And thank you so much, Richard, for the sponsorship for the channel. Greetings to Long Beach and West Canada and Rio de Janeiro. You see how many different places: Cape Town, Romania, Denver, Denmark, Sweden, and Los Angeles County, and even Cologne in Germany, and Nice, and Quebec, and Las Vegas, Sydney. Oh my God, Seattle, South Florida. You make me so proud of Buckinghamshire. You make me so proud of Indiana and Portugal, of our big community, New Zealand, Tuscan, Sweden, Hershey. So many beautiful names, sending you lots of love from Ukraine to your places. And thank you so much for this tremendous support that we feel. And to tell you the truth, with all of these adventures last week with Witkov and Dmitriev trying to trick the world, Merhaba Serkan, teşekkür ederim. With all that support that you demonstrated, we managed to stop this treason. What would be the right word? So, first of all, I want to thank my guardians, my kitten guardians, agent guardians, Martin and Philip and Spencer and Rudy and Michael. Thank you for that protection, and also Thomas on Discord. Thank you for being here and for fighting this, for fighting these evil trolls and bots that come. But whenever we have such attacks on the channel, it's always a very good proof that we are speaking the truth and they are having problems. Thank you so much, Lee, for buying me coffees. And so once again, I was pretty nervous this week when this news about 28 points of capitulation were offered. What was also very unexpected is, thank you so much, Russell, more about sweet kinetic sanctions. I do love drone sanctions, which are also kinetic sanctions. Thank you for using this term. But anyway, I was a little bit nervous. It's not that I thought that we would like surrender or we would agree. Thank you so much, Andre. I was more surprised that this idea came to someone's mind. And it's so difficult when you work for months in this diplomatic sphere. You try to demonstrate why the defeat and demilitarization of Russia is so important. And then out of nowhere, after the discussions about tomahawks, after new sanctions imposed on Rosneft and Lukoil, we get this 28 business proposal between Kremlin and the White House. So, that's why I'm sorry that maybe on Saturday I overwhelm you with my videos on new channel here and our live. But I decided we can speak about very different topics because there is so many things happening. Thank you so much, Lemonier. And there are so many things happening simultaneously. So on our daily video vlog that will appear later, We will talk a bit. Thank you so much, Pat, for your kind comment. But we will speak in our vlog later. We will speak about this new strategy to destroy Russia's shadow fleet. I was celebrating the destruction of that two shadow fleet tankers. There are some interesting details which I will not spoil here for you to watch the video later. But this seems like a new strategy. After the destruction of the Black Sea fleet, we proceed to the destruction of the Shadow fleet. Thank you so much, Mark. Yeah, Russia is selling its gold reserves. It is a bad sign. And you actually provide a very good introduction, Mark, to the video that will appear on Anna Danilchuk channel. And here I remind you to subscribe. Greetings, Barbara, and greetings to Pennsylvania. Happy to see you here. So you provide this introduction to the new video on the new channel, which will appear a little bit later, where we talk about this connection between the drone sanctions, collapsing Russian economy, and army. And, it's one of the first times when I disagree with the majority of comments, because you know that our videos and the interview, I'm happy that you like the interview with the Ukrainian economist experts in the collapsing Russian economy. But I often get these comments of people that say, well, it's good that you are fighting, it's good that you are destroying Russian economy, but Russians got used to poverty. Russians do not protest, their standards of life are really low, so it will take ages for them to react. People, we do not expect Russians to change anything in their country. We don't have any faith in that. But what we do believe is possible, that the empty budget will push Putin to organize this conscription. And the rest you will see in the video, so we will not focus on that too. Greetings to Portugal, and thank you so much. Your beautiful country, and I want to visit it because millions of people told me it's super tasty. And by the way, I have a friend advising me that before going to Portugal, you have to, sit on a diet for a couple of weeks to lose at least 2 kilos, because you will gain like 5. Is that true? So thank you so much, Demokratie, Freiheit. I'm sorry if I sometimes make mistakes when reading. So I have already introduced these topics that will appear on the new channel and vlog. And now we can fully dedicate ourselves to the today's topic. You know that I always prepare for our videos. And greetings to Kharkiv. Be safe there. Kharkiv is a beautiful city, one of my favorites in Ukraine, and the city where I defended my PhD. So anyway, when I was preparing for our live, for our conversation, I was happy to discover one article that had a very, actually my digital advisor, a good friend who does a lot for the security of the channel, for the thumbnails, he sent me that link, which stated that Putin does not have a plan. And that's true. Putin does not have a plan for Ukraine. His plan was blitzkrieg. His plan was Ukraine surrendering to Russia, they occupying Kyiv, putting their own Russian puppet, creating Ukraine as like Belarus 02. But that idea, failed. And after it failed, they didn't have anything to do but continue. But this continuation exhausts the resources. And Putin, honestly, he is in that situation where there are no correct steps. And that's why they use all their KGB, FSB skills to trick totally ignorant, inexperienced people like Witkov. Some say he is a Russian agent. I don't think so. I think that he is a primitive human being that knows nothing about politics, diplomacy, about Russia, about Ukraine, about Eastern Europe, and I honestly cannot understand how people agree to perform such functions as negotiators or advisors when they literally know nothing about this part of the world. I cannot imagine myself providing advice on New Zealand. I am proud to have a lot of friends from this country. I know it has beautiful nature. I would love to come and visit one day. I know lots of beautiful films were shot there, but I cannot advise on, like social, political, economic things inside. New Zealand because I don't know. I would use a lot of people there or something to build an adequate imagination. And what we have here, very unprofessional people who come and start persuading way smarter people, way more experienced people that they know what to do. I may tell you very interesting. Thank you, Oms. I'm glad that you liked it. So let me give you, like, I was reading that Wall Street Journal article. If you haven't, do read it because it simply demonstrates that they not just don't value human life, but they literally know nothing about politics, about diplomacy, and the way the things are done. Thank you so much to Balkane. Thank you for making our community always stronger and happy. And I know a lot of people thank you. So we're talking about people who know nothing, who have these business approaches, who ignore thousands of innocent people killed. And today we also had a huge attack on Kyiv. And soon I will be traveling to the capital again. And I can sure compare life in Lutsk and life in Kyiv. It's way easier to live in Lutsk. Like, I have electricity most of the time. The attacks are rare, but at the same time, you see what they can do to cities. And just recently, we witnessed Russia's peace plan in Ternopil, where 35 people were killed, and Russia spent like billions of dollars on the destruction of Ukrainian bedrooms and kitchens, which is crazy. But, like Russian ancestry, I would not think that it is what drives Witkov, even though he definitely has Russian roots. But I don't think he's just like educated enough to research his family history or something. He is tricked by these criminal offers that come from the Kremlin when they want to reboot Russia's economy with the help of the White House, promising them a lot of money, even though nobody knows where will they take this money from. Perhaps we're not talking about these national deals, we're not talking about agreements between Russia and the United States, but they mean some business deals between Putin, who may be the richest person in the world, and that might be the reason why Trump likes him so much. So it's all very private. It's all very business style. Of course, it's wrong, but like it's not the way any political or diplomatic things are done. Even like if they were acceptable, it's not the way you decide the end of the war, you decide the post-war world order. So this is a tremendous level of unprofessionalism, ignorance, lack of understanding, knowledge, and whatnot. And Rudy reminds you about Anna Danilchuk channel, and I'm very grateful that he does this job. So thank you so much. So, what I was surprised to read in that article is that, like, it is obvious that Witkov spoiled the plan to give tomahawks to Ukraine, and that would change a lot. We will return back to this. And it was definitely the move from the Kremlin, and Trump was on the brink of giving that tomahawks to Ukraine. And later I will explain to you why it's important and to some extent inevitable, no matter how hard they will want to object that. Greetings to Britain. Thank you. So, Witkov told Ukrainian negotiators, if it's possible to say so. Thank you so much, Serkan. Did you see Russian Shadow Fleet tankers burn near Bosporus? Uh, we took care of nature. We waited for them to be empty without oil before we set them on fire. It would be interesting to read what were the attitudes in Turkey if you're there now. So anyway, Witkov uh, was trying to persuade Ukrainian negotiators that we could, ask for zero tariffs for Ukraine. Oh, that is, I like it. Easy. Essa, I like it a lot. Steve wit off. Like his wit is definitely very much off. So anyway, uh, that offer that Witkov wanted to sell to Ukraine is like ask for zero tariffs for Ukraine in the coming years. That will be great to rebuild your economy. People, number one, first we need to end the war before we start rebuilding our economy, because at the moment when they keep destroying our apartments, our supermarkets, the warehouse of my favorite Kiev supermarkets, Novus, was recently targeted. Maybe you've seen that photos. I shared that on Instagram. Remember to follow me there too. And what is the worst, like apart from destroying simply tasty food, they killed drivers who came to deliver food from that supermarket storage to outlets. That's just awful. That's what they do. But they also burn lots of money on that. So anyway, uh, this account, like we're not thinking like it's important to think about the rebuilding or something like that, but at this moment it's not up to date. We still have to catch Russian missiles, destroy them. We need patriots. We don't need reconstruction. But when we plan, he offers that like zero tariffs. You don't need tomahawks will not change anything. You better ask for this kind of support. Zero tariffs that will save you, and that will change everything for the reconstruction. People, this is a tremendous level of negligence, and I know that it's not the first time when he comes to negotiate the Ukrainian territories, he offers us to surrender, but he even doesn't know the names of these regions. It's impolite, it's unprofessional, like literally he cannot name regions he's talking about. But do you know what is the size of Ukrainian export to the United States out of all the export that we have? And that man thinks that if we ask for zero tariffs, that will change our situation. Just for a second, can you imagine what is the size of that export that we have with the United States, taking into account we're not that big country, we are like pretty far away, and we are more agricultural, and the US is also very agricultural. Can you have any guess? Any guess? Like out of all the Ukrainian export, it's approximately 2-3%. So he wants to say that we have to surrender to have zero tariffs on the 3% of our export to the United States. I am sorry, but this is such unprofessionally. Okay, they say he's not a diplomat, he's not a politician, he's not anything, but he describes himself as a businessman, as a real estate professional. So yeah, so they are talking about 2-3%, maybe 4 in the best year, that we will have zero tariffs. And one more thing, I'm sorry, but let's be realistic. I hope that Ukraine stays as a successful country after Trump is, let's say, retired? Why would we sacrifice our peace, sovereignty, security for the sake of what, 10%, that zero tariffs that will be gone when, like, even before Trump is gone? Because don't you see, like, thank you so much to Balkan, sending lots of gratitude from Ukraine. Don't you think that, like, we're smart people, we watch what he does with these tariffs on and off, on and off, and again, 3%. Honestly, even if we had like 100%, we would not notice that, because that is not the most decisive part of our export. Thank you so much, Francois. That is not the decisive part of our export. And thank you so much, Tommy, for buying me coffees. Thank you. So he wanted to seduce Ukraine, literally not checking the size of the export. But I do believe that, guys, I see some questions about not the content of a conversation, but how do you get membership? As far as I understand, when someone gets the membership, the task is to accept it at a certain moment of time, as long as the option is open. And I think moderators can provide more information concerning the advertisement. I don't control this advertisement, but if I turn off the advertisement, YouTube will stop promoting the videos, because YouTube is a commercial platform that only promotes the things that bring it money. Not me, but brings YouTube money. So if you don't want advertisements, you can buy YouTube Premium or skip advertisements, but I cannot turn them off on my side if I want my videos to be promoted. That's one. Thank you so much, Rudy. That's one of the reasons why many creators are dissatisfied when their videos are demonetized. Not because they worry for the money that they won't get. I don't live for earning money here, but because YouTube is only interested in those videos that it can use for the advertisement. And that is the reason why we care about that. So that's why, once again, if thank you so much, Richard. So if there are no advertisements, the YouTube won't push it, won't advise others to watch this video. And I want more people to know about Ukraine. So the best way is to get that YouTube Premium, which is not that expensive, and it will protect you from all the advertisements. For example, I have it. But otherwise, just skip or wait for it to end. So we obviously see that these people not only are ignorant, disrespectful, they don't want to pay enough attention to people, um, and a lot of things. And um, uh, well, like, once again, hi button or super thanks, everything comes later to Ukraine. We don't have super thanks here, and hopefully hi button will appear sometime soon. But I am in Ukraine, I am from Ukraine. I use YouTube as a Ukrainian. Ukraine is the country of my YouTube. I could try and trick it saying that I'm elsewhere, but I don't want to. That's my that's my personal decision. I'm here with my country. I think it's super important to be in Ukraine during this time. So this comes with some limitations, unfortunately. And I've already told you that the last night was not quiet. 2 people killed in Kyiv, 1 person in Kyiv region after a combined attack on Ukraine. That is what Russian culture looks like. That is what a Russian peace proposal looks like. And that's exactly how they negotiate. But I always try to focus on something positive. And I believe that these meetings, these important manipulations that were exposed, thank you so much, John Panisse, all the things that were exposed Yeah, thank you. I'm also happy that I have electricity. It's a luxury. No, anyway, once again, I've told you that in Ukraine, in Lutsk, the situation with electricity is way better than in Kyiv. They try to demoralize people in Kyiv. Plus, Kyiv is a big monster. It consumes a lot of electricity. So that what happens. So anyway, with all of that. Uh, this is super important to understand. Guys, are you interested in the topic? Am I monetized? Yes, and I'm a private entrepreneur paying taxes for YouTube advertisement to the Ukrainian tax office. If you want any kind of cooperation, I don't. You might have seen I don't provide advertisements in my videos because I believe the topics are too sensitive. Anything else? So in Lutsk, the situation with electricity is way better than in Kyiv. What is also good, for example, in Kharkiv, or I think even in Odessa, they also try to protect people more, not to encourage them to leave their places, and they have a better situation with electricity than even in Kyiv. But have you noticed this absurdity that Trump even stopped reacting to attacks? For example, when Ternopil, the western Ukrainian city, was targeted, like 35 people were killed. Among them, there were a lot, like 8 children, I guess. 8 children, little children, 7, 8, 12, during that attack. Did you see any serious reaction coming from the White House or any other global leaders? Can you imagine how it feels in Ukraine when such things are accepted and day later they start asking uh, about this, like giving up Ukrainian territories, controlling Ukrainian soldiers. I'm sorry, it is the size of the aggressor army that can be made smaller, not the size of the defender's army. But of course, I know that he's not interested. Oh my God, I have a very sarcastic comment. Vintage Mom has just said that he's not interested in people, he's interested in real estate. And I had this like bad joke. Maybe we should focus on the number of the destroyed buildings instead of the number of destroyed people lives, but that's very like Trumpian. But okay, I know he doesn't care. I know we don't have like, because I love it when you keep telling me don't trust. Of course I don't trust Trump, but like that people even stopped pretending that they care, because there is something like like protecting people. There is something like reacting, like saying something. Thank you so much, Ed. Like, I mean, like you may not care, but you have to act as human beings act, just like that's a rule. You have to say something. You have to, like, when someone treats you to a good or even bad dinner, you did not like it, but you say thank you so much for inviting me. That's politeness. And here we are talking about human lives, and there is no reaction at all. Like 35 people killed in their bedrooms. Russian multi-million-dollar missile burned their money and destroyed Ukrainian lives. And what do we have? You should make your army smaller so that Russians have less problems killing you. But once again, I've told you that I wanted to be more positive. So what does this situation tell us? The situation tells us that Russians have serious problems, that they are looking for the ways to push Ukraine to surrender, to capitulate, that they are trying to influence our allies, that they are trying to create this image of power. And it's not difficult. You are working with very unprofessional people. And they are using this momentum to save themselves. And it clearly demonstrates us that all these problems with proposals with points they developed together. Okay, they tricked Witkoff. It's not difficult to trick Trump. They promise money. They give some compliments. That's okay. But this demonstrates that they are burning from inside. That all these moves, all these 28 points, were developed as the reaction to the sanctions. The sanctions imposed on Rosneft and Lukoil, and they beautifully support our drone sanctions. So, people, what you have to understand is that here in Ukraine, for example, we laugh a lot when Russians keep saying on their TV that, you know, uh, well, sanctions don't matter. This will not change anything. Russian economy is super adaptable, and that's why Witkov and that's why Dmitriev, Putin's envoy, literally ran to the United States to try and save the situation. They spent days in Miami, perhaps bribing and seducing some representatives of the Trump family, but this did not lead to anything. That was the reaction, that was the fear, that was the understanding that Russian sanctions will destroy the already empty budget. Right now, Russians lack 6 point something trillion rubles. And the year is not finished yet. And they promised like the growth, but they have zero growth of that GDP. Thank you so much to Balkan. Cheers to that. So that's the classical demonstration of stagflation. Remember to check that interview that I had on the channel last week. And that's super interesting because we have to be smarter than Witkov. We are. And with like to be objective, a little bit neutral, and try to understand. Thank you so much, Marcel, for your words and for coffees. So when we have to be, like doctors or soldiers, they don't have to let emotions in, and they simply analyze what's happening. So this rush, this very unprofessional behavior, this desire to trick everyone, and they constantly underestimate Ukrainians, European diplomats, even American people, ordinary American people that constantly protect us with your reaction. Thank you here. So they rushed to try and save what is left of the Russian economy. And so far, they did not succeed. So I prefer to concentrate on this, signals which show us the budget is empty, more and more dissatisfaction among the Russian soldiers. And here I remind you about our Anna Danilchuk community, where the new video will appear. And there I speak about these economic problems inside the Russian army. That's super important because their soldiers do not earn that money they were promised. And you all know that Russian war criminals join Russian army only because of money. There is no ideology. They are not defenders. They do not stand for their futures, their homes as Ukrainian soldiers. These are people who decided to earn in such a bloody way. It's obvious that these sanctions, together with Ukrainian drone sanctions, literally burn Russia from inside. And it's not the first time that the imperial project collapses under the influence of economic problems. This does not lead to people protesting on the streets. Russians do not have traditions of democracy, traditions of demonstrating their attitudes or taking political and social responsibility, but when they don't have what to eat, when they don't have products on the shelves, they start separating themselves from the Kremlin. That's exactly what happened in the end of 80s, at the beginning of 90s. You may be surprised to hear that from a Ukrainian, but many other successful countries that became independent after the collapse of the USSR also say that, greetings to Geneva, Also say that we understand. Recently, you had serious talks. Say that. Um, that we know that back in 90s we did not fight for our independence. We did not gain our independence. That's what happens right now. In 1991, in 1990, it simply collapsed. It collapsed like a rusty warship Moskva. Thank you, someone, for buying me coffees. And that's what the Kremlin fears. And once again, what is the solution for the Kremlin goblin? Honestly, let's once again try to be detectives. I don't know. Let's try to be authors, political diplomats, or something. If you're wondering what's that, that's the cat. That's the cat from Latvia. And it can be like very different. And I don't know why, but I keep playing with it because it's just like it can be long cat, but it can also be a short cat. I'm worried for my moderators. Anyway, so anyway, we obviously see and more people understand that it's it was the collapse. And how did it happen? When people who were tricked by Soviet ideology, by that project, by the description that, like everywhere in the world, there are enemies. That's why we have to be united. By the way, lots of Russians. Thank you so much, Paul. Yeah. Well, they have the history of revolutions, but they don't bring any evolutions. And that's the problem. And also, their revolutions are super bloody. And this Heavenly Hundred that we have in Ukraine during the Revolution of Dignity, that was also a Russia controlled project. And some say that these were even Russian forces. They were securing Yanukovych regime. Thank you so much, Pat. And yeah, that's interesting, observing what happens in Venezuela. And I know that Putin supports the Venezuela so-called president, and that he actually sent a number of generals and militaries. This may be a very interesting development, but hopefully innocent people won't suffer. Anyway, we do understand that, once again, in 1990 they were weak, they did not have anything, and it all simply collapsed. It collapsed like something rusty and loud. And what we're doing now, we're fighting for our independence. And I'm sorry, sadly Putin wants to trigger West to escalate. How can West escalate? Did you see any escalation from the West? Because I constantly see Putin escalating, keeps killing Ukrainians, invited North Korean soldiers, threatens European capitals with nuclear weapons. I did not see anything like that coming from the European side. I don't see European boots on the ground. I don't see Paris threatening to nuke Moscow. Nothing. So I honestly do not understand. Where does it come from? Honestly, I'm worried that this weak responses is an invitation to continue. And the news has stopped because the 20-point agreement was fake. It was a Russian project, and then the information about how it was prepared leaked. And it's a disgrace. And 20, 40 years ago, that would be a huge scandal with many people resigning from the White House, but we don't observe it here. So with this anyway, but we see that problems keep messing. And Russia has committed too many war crimes. And in the 21st century, it is easier to fix them than it was, for example, in times of the Second World War. They steal Ukrainian children. They intentionally target civilian districts. They use different kinds of forbidden weapons. We may say that Ukraine now is the most mined territory in the world. They destroyed a lot of hospitals, a lot of schools. They also undermined international law. And thank you so much, John and Peter, for buying me coffees. And there are so many things that, like, literally, Putin cannot stop. 1 million soldiers in Ukraine or on the front lines in Russia. Teşekkür ederim Serkan. Thank you. And we obviously see that he's afraid of that soldiers too, because these are angry, bloodthirsty people who, for the first time in their life, started earning money. And now these money are losing their value. Money is losing the value in Russia. Thank you so much, Mark. What they could buy for that salary of the Russian war criminal back in 2022, they cannot buy now. And there will be more and more questions, more and more problems. Putin does not want to start a conscription. This will lead to protests. This will lead to more people trying to escape Russia, more dissatisfaction. Someone may blame that. What is, I'm sorry, that will be a weird question. What is the solution for Putin in this situation? What can he do? Well, he uses this obvious, primitive, simple way, trying to bribe Witkov, trying to bribe Trump. It's not difficult with this kind of people, but have some tea. Michael, that's a good idea. Russian tea, the Russian way. There is no solution. And there is no solution indeed. There is no solution. That's why those people who keep asking, are the negotiations possible? Do you think a ceasefire is achievable before winter or Christmas or something? No, people, because tell me, please, what are the reasons for any negotiations apart from Trump speaking about it? We have Trump who keeps speaking about that, maybe because he wants, like a Nobel Peace Prize, or because he wants to do business, not between America and Russia, but between Trump and Putin. So what's the option? No option. And no reason for any negotiations. For any negotiations, any agreement to be real, there should be preconditions. For example, they stop killing people in bedrooms and kitchens in Ukraine. For example, you can see, I don't know, fear of nuclear war. What they do to Vovchansk, dropping 500 cabs a week, is similar to tactical nuclear weapons. I constantly watch one Ukrainian YouTuber, Vitaly Portnikov. He's very good at the analysis of the situation. Thank you so much, Willek, and then KLN. That what was the main task, the main purpose of this nuclear weapons? They worked as I don't know if it's the right word. You will correct me, perhaps, that as a deterrent, like something deterrent that, like, why Russia is not afraid of the nuclear war? That's the best question, Pat. Because the nuclear arsenal of the United States is way bigger and more modern, and I'm sure they check it from time to time and the maintenance is done. So why aren't Russians afraid? Why aren't Russians afraid that after they nuke Ukraine, and in Ukraine we're not afraid of nuclear war, we don't think it will, we will disappear if we are occupied by Russia. We know that. We won't be just, you have to listen to what they are speaking on that TV. They openly speak that they want to fight until the last Ukrainian. Dugin, Putin's philosopher, says that there will be no Ukraine. Either we destroy it with nuclear weapons or we occupy it and no Ukrainians will be left. Some will manage to escape, others will be killed, just as they did on the temporarily occupied territories. So many people disappeared and so many names will never be returned. That's the tragedy. We're not talking enough. So Why aren't Putin afraid of the nuclear weapons? But before this, for a very long period of time, the nuclear weapons were a deterrent. They worked as a deterrent. The fact that you have nuclear weapons protected you from any invasions, and also you did not want to attack anyone because it was something like an agreement, the way to protect each other from crazy things. Now, Russia uses nuclear weapons as a threat. Russia constantly uses them not as a deterrence, but as a way to threaten others and make them surrender. What do you do if you have a neighbor next to your house and you have this house, you paid your rent, you bought that house, you don't have any other money left? Thank you, Duncan. Thank you so much. And then you have a neighbor who says, give me your wife or give me your child, and I will not burn your house. If you don't give me your wife or your child, I will burn your house. So, what are your actions? That's exactly the situation we are in. The normal action is to react, I don't know, to call a police or someone else and do something to your neighbor, not to your wife or your child. And what we see now is contrary. How do you think, like, why do you think that by giving, yes, Ukrainians would definitely welcome NATO troops and train NATO troops for a modern war? I think NATO troops need that. Because as one really smart EU deputy said that with just a couple of drones, Russia is capable to paralyze the work of many airports in Europe. With just a couple, and every night we have hundreds of them, and we survive. And the next morning we have lives. So maybe it's us who can teach NATO troops. I now know that. I'm sure of that. You know, when I began vlogging, I had this awe. I was watching NATO troops with awe. And now I realize that most of the things they were trained for are outdated. Yes, of course, missiles are good. But another thing that I wanted to discuss with you, that classmate of JD Vance who traveled to Ukraine and wanted to frighten us, saying that we have to surrender because Russia is building more and more missiles. Tell me, please, do you think it's okay? It's a normal decision to say Ukraine to surrender because Russia is building more missiles. Tell me, please, we are all ordinary people. How do you think? What would be a good decision? Knowing, because of your intelligence, your skills, that Russia is developing its missile arsenal. So, what is the step that you must take? What is the solution? And that is a solution that was made a number of times throughout history. Counter arsenal, spacer lasers, anti-missile make more missiles. And I have a very simple answer that all in Ukraine offer, and now you will see how advanced we are already in the military thinking. Simply give us long-range missiles to destroy their production facilities and arsenals of their missiles. And in a couple of months, Russia won't have any. And you won't have to do it. Your NATO troops won't have to do it. Your sons won't have to do it. Ukrainians will do it. Just let us have a look at how we destroyed with our smuggled drones 1/3 of Russia's cruise missile carriers. These arsenals burn really well, they detonate. We can destroy it. You don't need to build new. You don't need to threaten or something like that, or invade lasers or invite aliens. That's why we are asking for long-range missiles to be able to reach the locations. And you know we are effective even with inexpensive home-developed drones. And it's really difficult to develop everything in times of the big war, but that's what we are doing because we don't have much hopes on those decision makers, escalation managers. But that's the easiest decision. That's what people in the 80s, in the 90s would say. Russia's building too many missiles. Our task is to destroy these missiles while on the Russian side, together with the construction facilities. Maybe neutralize a number of war criminals involved in the production. That's that simple. And we could do it. We could do it. And that is a classical. It's not me being inventive or super smart. This is obvious. This is what, I don't know, any smart military man would advise you. And they say, no, you surrender because Russia has many missiles. What is, how do you think, how do they react um, in Russia? Like, okay, we have, do you think that these words, that like Ukraine, you have to surrender, Europe, you don't have to object because Russia is building more and more missiles. How do you think, uh, what is the Russian internal reaction to that phrase? Do they say, like, okay, if Ukraine surrenders and Europe does not object, we will stop building missiles because why? Because why if they get everything they want? They could get everything they want if they simply show missiles to some Americans. They don't need to use them. I don't know how many countries can fight that fiercely against Russia as Ukraine. Do we need to? Yes, because they don't want to bring you peace. They don't want to bring you success, safety, and security. They want to destroy your freedom, your values, and make you live like it was in the USSR. And trust me, it was not the best life. No other republic, apart from softly and silently annexed Belarus or Russia, want to join back the USSR. It's just Russia who wants that, nobody else. I wonder why. Maybe because that's a totally failed project. That's a totally failed project. So, can you imagine how like ordinary Ukrainians feel when this man comes, a classmate of JD Vance, and starts teaching us with such nonsense? And you have to pretend that, oh yes, when you have all you have is just like disgust and disrespect. Because that's silly. Because I cannot imagine how loud they laugh at them in the Kremlin and in Beijing. And the only working peace plan is to keep destroying their military targets, to demilitarize Russia. When I say to demilitarize Russia, that's what I mean, to destroy their arsenals. You see? And we have come up with one really cool idea. You know that I have an NGO that works on the digitization of cultural heritage, various projects, and there I have amazing partners who also know that I have an amazing community on YouTube. And somehow we were drinking coffee and talking about how fun it would be to create something. Thank you so much, Wendell. Like a Russian. Oh, thank you so much. Cheers. Our community is growing stronger and stronger. Like for that. Like, let's make 1,000 likes. So thank you so much, Carlos. So we were talking that it would be great to make something like Russian refineries bingo. And these guys, they are serious, not just like the White House representatives now. So they created the prototypes of computer games. These are not serious, complex games, not something like virtual reality, but simple games, something like we wanted, like Battleship Bingo or something like that. And we want to test these games on our Discord. And here I will ask the help of Martin because the guys can drop the link, and I will be very happy if you join that channel on Discord. and try and help us test these ideas. These are just drafts. That's why I don't drop links to, encourage everyone. So perhaps there will be some mistakes, some advice. How can we improve that? But I think it would be great to have games where you destroy Russian oil refineries or their battleships. That is what we are talking about. So there are links. Philip is dropping them. Martin is dropping them. Michael, I guess. You will have, after you join Discord, you will have to ask. Thank you so much, Sir Bedever. You will have to ask for a permission to. I will quote Martin, who said that you will need to apply for the tester role, and then you will be added to that new channel. And the best way to do that is to tag any admin on Discord, and that is Martin and Michael and Rudy, I guess. So, yeah, Geography Games, Francois, thank you so much to Balkane. And if you feel like playing, and I think that the season of holidays is coming, so we will be eating a lot, we will be sleeping a lot. It's a lazy period even in times of war, so maybe you will find it interesting to join the Discord and to try to test. Once again, these are not final options, versions, and on that channel you will have a developer in the group, and I will be very happy if you leave your ideas, comments, and co-create with us. Just imagine that you co-created the destruction of a number of Russia's military battleships. So that would be really great. And once again, join the Discord, and I'm sure people on Discord will take care of you there. Or you may leave your questions in the comments, and my wonderful guardians will help us with that. And same as we have a sale on our merch shop. I do not advertise it a lot. Amazing and meaningful holiday presents, and even a new calendar. One with the beautiful nature of Ukraine, and another one in a comic style with me introducing you to important Ukrainian victories. So do check the merch shop, because -15 on everything until the end of this week. And please, let's make 1,000 likes. This will be definitely cool. Oh yes, and we have 1,000 likes, and Rudy has just dropped a link to the merch store, and remember, we still have these discounts running. I see that if not this support from the White House, this support from JD Vance, we would already be celebrating the collapse of the Kremlin regime, because what they are doing during this almost year, they are trying to secure Putin, believing this will give them anything, but it won't. Because once again, Putin is a KGB officer who knows how to trick such people. And he doesn't plan to invest in any businesses of, I don't know, Baron Trump. What they do right now is they mock, they laugh, and they also undermine this long-time friendship between the European Union and the North America. And here you come as savers, because once again, I was very happy to discover that even among Trump supporters, 76% understand that Russia is the enemy, that Russia wants to destroy the world order, and that this is extremely important to understand, to stop it. And one of the things that many people forget is that Russian ideology, Chinese ideology, it's extremely anti-American. It's not that much, like communism or something like that. It's just Do you see me well? Because it's just one person reporting about the buffering, so maybe that's on your side, not on our side. I'm sorry then. If the problems, it may be, we are a country at war, and I have warned you about that. But thank you so much, Francois, and thank you so much, Peter and John. Thank you for your support and for copies. And so we have to understand that their ideology as anti-American, anti-Western, anti-Ukrainian, they don't want territories, they don't want your businesses, they don't want your investments. And it's so funny to watch how Trump says we must return Putin to G8 or open trade because he was out of that all, and that's the reason why he attacked Ukraine. But people, you forget that Putin was out of G8 and businesses because he attacked Ukraine. They, they change these meanings. So that's absurd. He was out of G8 because he attacked Ukraine, not because he was out of G8, he attacked Ukraine. And it's so painful, to watch this. Oh, I defended my PhD in 2011, so thank you so much, but it's a little bit late for congratulations. I'm sorry, and I can't tell you that I read it a lot. So that's absurd. The same as about NATO. I do not remember NATO threatening Russia, NATO telling Russia we will attack Moscow, but I constantly remember Russia threatening the world. And the reason why so many nations were decided they want to join NATO, they want to move westwards, is because Russia's project is a failure. The level of life there, the quality of life there, everything is a failure. So thank you so much for this support that we feel. And I want you to know, and now I address those who watch from the United States, that we see this difference between the decisions made by a few in the White House, actually secretly from the majority in the White House and the Congress, secretly from the EU partners. And we understand that's not the people of America. That's just a misunderstanding. So thank you so much, John. And what's your PhD in, Serkan? What's your field of studies? My is linguistics. Here in Ukraine, they say Germanic languages because English is a Germanic language too. So anyway, I have a question to you before I let you enjoy your Saturday and also watch the vlog. I have a question to you. Because I'm thinking of one video, and how do you think? What are the greatest misconceptions about NATO and its role in this war that you have come across? What is so you're just like I'm a freelance journalist now. That's interesting. So just imagine, it's very difficult sometimes to debunk the nonsense that people still think, but what was perhaps the most absurd thing about NATO and like NATO provoking this war, NATO pushing Ukraine or something like that. Thank you so much, Arthur. Georgia 2008, and it was exactly after they told us no. So anyway, the only reason why so many nations, former Soviet nations, want to join NATO is they want to protect themselves from Russia. They simply wanted to protect themselves from Russia. That's simple. Thank you so much, Paul. And thank you so much, Rudy. Thank you. So maybe I will even make, a separate post that you could answer in our community tab. But it is definitely obvious that, in the 90s, I questioned why NATO still existed, but I'm sure you don't have that question anymore. a threat to Russia. Well, NATO never threatened Russia, and Russia keeps threatening NATO countries all the time. That's pretty obvious. Uh, Overestimating Russia, but I do not remember NATO acting aggressively towards Russia. Never. Never towards Russia or Belarus or, like, I don't know, any other country. I don't remember that. But I remember and I see and I live through every threat of Russia, and they keep threatening. They actually send drones to your airports, military bases, cyber attacks, sabotage, lots of arsons, and direct interference in your political and social life. That's 100%. I'm sure that many problems exist just because Russians invest in them. Thank you so much, Tony. So I'm happy to tell you that nobody in Ukraine seriously considers that appeasement plan. It failed. What's interesting that it leaked. And it leaked in Bloomberg, and now Russians are worried because, maybe they even have a spy in the Kremlin. That would be interesting. You don't know. Thank you so much, Blaze. And like the way they communicated, how they used, and another thing interesting, they all communicated using WhatsApp. And do you know that WhatsApp is banned in Russia? And there were lots of Russians saying, like, how come we cannot use WhatsApp, but our leaders can? That is all about Russia. That is all about USSR. They live a very different life, people on the top, and people in the bottom, and there are millions and hundreds of millions, they live a very different life. And they are so suppressed, so traumatized that they don't even realize that. Don't you think it's funny that people under constant missile attacks, with all these betrayals that we experience literally on a weekly basis, feel more confident and more proud of their motherland than any Russian? I think it tells a lot. And I'm super happy that I have you and I have our community. Remember to also follow me on Anna Danilchuk. I speak there. I promise, I speak there only once a week. I will not overload you with my comments, but it's a little bit longer conversational format channel where we can discuss some things not connected to the news of these days. So follow it. Lots of interesting videos are coming, and the one about financial problems of the Russian war criminals and attacks on them inside Russia. Also, there will be a video on this channel, a vlog about 2 Russian tankers destroyed near Bosphorus, near Turkey, and many more. I'm sure we'll join that, similar as we destroyed the Black Sea Fleet. So thank you so much for all the coffees. Thank you for becoming members, sponsors of the channel, patrons. That's a great honor. Once again, remember to follow me on all social media channels. The link always in the description. Thank you for buying our merch and becoming Ukrainian ambassadors, reminding the world about our fight and the need to defeat Russia. And also, I will be very happy and I will pop in to the channel of testers for our games. And once again, here I want to thank my beautiful kittens, Philip and Martin and Spencer, Get Well, and Rudy and Michael. Thank you so much for this amazing work that you're doing to make me feel secure, even in times of the big war. Love you very much, and Slava Ukraini!